15 seconds. What up, people? Alright. Here we go. That's right. Charlie Daniels Band, a little dose of America. Figured we need that more than anything this morning.
Yep.
What's going on today? Anything important?
Yeah, there's something important. Everybody and their brother's been out there voting.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've
You
seen.
Mess around and get run over at the polls.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Man, I tell you what, man.
And that's a good thing.
It is.
Everybody's taking care of business. You know, this is our opportunity, everybody's opportunity, to speak your mind literally.
Right.
Not figuratively, but literally.
Right.
And, you know, you vote for who you want to vote for, knowing and hoping that if they do get into office, no matter what office that is, that you can contact them some kind of way and tell them what you feel like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you have the ability to say, hey, man, I don't like that, or I do like that. I'm telling you right now, I have watched about, I don't know how many nights total of the Trump campaign stops. Homeboy is crazy. I wish I had his energy at 74 years old.
Yeah.
And the man don't drink or smoke.
I'm 73. I'm hoping I got that.
You're
I'm working my. I'm 63. I'm working my way up to 74.
You talking like Biden right now, not
Yeah.
knowing how old you are.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working my way up to that energy level.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. He was there last night, and it's the same speech most of the time. So once you've heard one, you've heard them all.
Yeah.
But what kills me though is the amount of energy that he brings every.
I like the one. He says, "Wait a minute. Let me get a little more comfortable." He takes his tie off.
Yeah.
And throws his tie out in the crowd.
Well, and last night he was making fun of the mic guy.
Yeah.
Because he gave him a mic, and he's like, "That one's not working." You know, and he's like, he gives another mic. He goes, "You know, I'm not gonna pay the bill now, right?" You know, you don't. It basically said, you don't do a good job. I don't pay the bill.
Right.
You know, that's how this works.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then he goes, then they gave me the Biden mic. He called it I think he called it a Democrat mic because it doesn't work or something. You know, it's just
the guys. You know, if anything else, he's having fun.
He is because
and I'm so proud of him for having fun because when you see Kamala Harris or Biden, either one of them, out there in their areas,
right?
And I watched them too.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
just to hear what they got to say.
Well, because you gotta wait 45 minutes because Biden can't get through a statement without hardly messing it up and forget what the teleprompter said.
But they really ain't trying to have fun. You see what I mean?
They're serious. It shows that they're dancing, playing music, getting the crowd involved. You know, making fun of people around him, like that fun.
Did you see him grab them MAGA hats and go to throwing them out?
Yeah, that fun New York ribbon. You know, I mean, he's just ribbing people's always doing. Oh, there's New York, man. He's busting, you know what's.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do over there in New York.
Yeah.
You know, them boys from Queens.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just what it is, and it's, if anything, you're right. It's made it actually highly enjoyable to watch. And now there's people out there with such hate that they can't stand to even see the man. But it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, hey man, that's phenomenal. And I don't know how it's going to go. We really never really will. We can estimate. Everybody estimates one way or the other. I mean, you'll have 15 people tell you one thing, 15 tell you the other. And it really just depends on who you ask and who they represent. You know, I don't know what my prediction is. I think he'll get to 270 tonight and call it good. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about voter fraud or anything like that. Worry about votes getting counted late, you know, or postmarked on the right date or whatever, because he'll get that 270 before that even matters. Who knows?
It don't matter to
but
me,
you know
because I've been praying that good Lord put the man in office that He wants in office.
There you go. And like I say, you know what's going to happen?
What?
Next day, if he wins or loses, we won't have way back Wednesday here in the Agaplex.
That's exactly.
I mean, it's not going to change anything.
No.
You know, not right now.
It ain't going to change anything. Now you're going to have some ignorance.
Oh, you're gonna have complete ignorance.
You know, you're going to have some ignorance.
Hell, the far radical left already said that.
What I feel like that needs to happen though is that ignorance needs to be dealt with instantly and very swiftly and accordingly.
It should be if he's still president.
If they want to bring violence, then we'll show you some violence.
Yeah.
Turn the police loose on them and say, you know, they want to be ugly and nasty and everything else. If they even attempt to strike you, use extreme measures.
Well, it's
because this needs to stop.
It does, and they've already come out and said if he wins, we will take to the street. There are people boarding up their cities right now, like a hurricane is coming.
Yeah.
You know where they're not doing that though? In Republican-run cities.
You think?
Because they ain't scared.
Yeah.
Because they know that their people are going to keep their dang minds.
Yeah. Well, and some cities, they're not boarding the doors up. The old boy's standing there at the door with a shotgun saying, pick up that brick. If it leaves your hand headed this way,
you'll drop before it hits the wall.
That's right.
I mean,
you're going down before it hits the glass.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and that's just unfortunately the situation we're currently in.
And the bad thing about it, it don't have to be this way.
No.
It does not.
Let them win or let them lose.
That's right. It
Again.
doesn't have to be this way. I mean, what are people thinking?
It's not going to change.
What are these? And I really feel like that Trump did good when he put Antifa on the terrorist list. I think he did
And the
good.
KKK.
And the KKK.
But he won't denounce white supremacy, but he put KKK on the terrorist list.
That's right.
They don't see that as one and the same. But,
well, and I think a lot of one is almost the other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
I think they
you just
can-
far left or far right.
They can. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I just feel like that, there's a lot of things, and then everybody said, the Proud Boys. I think the Proud Boys need to get a check.
Yeah.
If they're going to be proud, you need to be proud, not stupid.
Right.
You got a problem with that? Everybody knows where I work. Everybody knows who I am. So.
Well, that's the thing, man. They've already come out and said we're gonna go to the streets. Why?
Yeah.
What has that solved since you started this
What has
back
that
when George
solved
Floyd overdosed?
Has it solved anything?
What is this going to solve?
Yeah, it has.
It ain't solved anything. It's cost money. You know what's bad about it is it darn well might have cost the man who you thought was better than Trump the election.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet, but I mean, there's a good chance. They said the surge the last couple of weeks because people are absolutely tired of the idiocracy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rioting in Washington, D.C. because a cop chased a man on a moped who got hit by another car because he wasn't paying attention, nor was he wearing a helmet. But they rioted because the cops chased him because he was a suspect of a crime.
Right.
And granted, it was like a traffic stop, but he still ran.
Yep. Well,
I'm just,
when the popo tells you to stop, typically speaking, they're really not playing.
no. Well, I mean, no.
And stop may mean a lot of things. Stop doing what you're doing.
Right.
Pull over, or stop being dumb, or put the rock down, or stop doing whatever it is you're doing, and it just there's an element of respect there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That I feel like that has been neglected. I'm not talking about lost. I just think it's been neglected, and the people don't, and a lot of people don't. I say a lot of people. There are some people, not a lot. There's some people that really do not respect the people that go out there.
Well, what do you expect when you're not taught to?
Well, but that's on you. If you're not taught to be respectful of people of authority, even the law enforcement, how are you going to be respectful of laws and anything else?
It's like when let's say a family down the street that's heavily into the meth use, and they have a child.
Right.
And that child turns up and grows up, and it actually turns into heavily into the meth use themselves. You're not surprised, are you?
Well, I feel like that there should be other people.
Oh, there's not, but I'm just saying in general.
I'm not
let's
surprised.
say in a bubble,
That's right.
if there's no other in the kid's life, you're not surprised.
That's
Matter of fact,
exactly
you'd be
right.
more surprised if they showed up normal.
Right.
Right? I mean, which does happen, by the way, sometimes. But I'm just saying, I'm not surprised because these people, these people of all creeds, colors, nationalities, genders, and whatnots have been taught that we live in this world that people can't tell you what to do, but from an authoritarian standpoint. I say it all the time. You ain't gonna tell me what I'm gonna do unless you're an authority type.
That's exactly right.
That's my little catch.
And then I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do.
Like Landy Case is not gonna tell me, and I'm not gonna tell you what you gonna do.
Right. It ain't
But
happening.
if I'm Judge
Now,
Jeff,
if Suzanne Torres tells you what to do,
yeah, exactly.
It's the answer to that question or the answer to that statement would be
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll get right on that.
Or yes, sir, whichever you feel like doing.
Do you want 2 coats of wax on that car?
Yes, sir.
I mean, just say it. But they've been taught to disrespect. They've been taught that the only single reason that you are being stopped and questioned, despite the fact that you may be out at 2 a.m. walking around a building looking at it when the alarm goes off, is because you're of a certain color or because you're poor. Mm-hmm. And that probably 98% of the time is not the case. Are there times? Maybe. Maybe you did get profiled. It's like the young man. Whatever happened to the young man down there who got shot from going into the homes that were under construction? You ever hear any more about that?
Yep.
You know why?
Because he was wrong.
He was walking through people's construction sites, surveying, and he was trying to run away from people. And it was a horrible. It was a tragic accident.
Right.
But as the story developed, look what happened.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, you don't hear about it anymore because it doesn't fit the national narrative.
Right.
It's not as clean cut.
Right.
Just like
you
the
don't
knife
hear,
story.
You don't hear about the storm that's come up through Louisiana.
No, either, because it doesn't fit the narrative right now.
There's a lot more in my
unless they can
opinion.
tie some kind of levee break to Trump and his failures as president the last 3.5 years.
Right.
They won't talk about the hurricane.
No.
If the grid fails, if the electrical grid fails, and they can find a way to trace that back to a policy that Trump put in place,
right,
they won't talk about it.
No.
It's not important. 45 days without power. So.
Yeah,
Did you go vote, Louisiana?
That's not important. The important part is we need to keep you wearing your mask and isolated so you don't talk to anybody.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's almost getting to be like Canada. Did you see that deal from Canada I shared? I was like, man, you've got to be kidding. Parliament coming together and says, okay, we're going to start a new deal after in the later part of this year. Actually, it's going to be like this. We're going to start a debt forgiveness plan. Everybody goes, yay, debt forgiveness. But when you sign the plan, all your debt's forgiven. Okay? All your personal assets are not yours anymore either.
So it's a deal with the devil.
Okay.
I'll do this for you, but your soul's mine.
Well, no, not your soul, all your stuff. Like property.
Well, it was an analogy.
Like property.
It was an analogy.
Cars.
You basically lose everything
Right.
for a single moment of relief.
Right. Now, the second part of this is the new virus, COVID-19 virus shot, and the COVID-21 virus shot that they're not even talking about now.
Right.
Everybody's going to have to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to take the shot. No. Okay. But you're in the debt forgiveness plan. Yeah. Okay, so you need to get on the bus because we're going to take you to a place to where we're going to put you in, basically incarcerate you, and until you buy into the plan, basically.
Right.
But if you go ahead and take the shot and everything, if you take the 2 shots, you can go and do whatever you want to, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not really feeling this because there's a deal with that shot that they're talking about.
Right.
That is DNA altering.
Well, the thing is, we don't know, and that's the problem.
Well, see, they patented it.
Because
so
there's rumors.
They turned it loose.
Exactly.
Let me see if I can find it.
Well,
it'll take me a while.
Well, and just speaking of the craziness that's going on, I mean,
exactly.
With the, basically what you're getting at with the COVID and everything, and they're leveraging people, and they're saying we'll do this for you if you do this, and it makes you sound great, but it's a momentary relief in regards to a lifetime of you owing them. It's like the mob. You know, they're going to do you a little favor right now, the government is, by giving you a little bit of a stimulus check. But we won't give you that check till you take the shot. And then when you take that shot, who knows what's going to happen after that. But California's doing kind of the same. You see what California did? We're in November. What happens in November? Thanksgiving. Group family gatherings.
Yeah.
Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Families hanging out. People having a good time.
People loving on each other.
Forgetting their problems and just loving themselves. Maybe throwing some Jesus out there in the mix. You know, just getting together.
Right.
And being a family and friends. Moving our nation forward together.
Right.
Regardless of who's going to be in office, right?
Right.
Well, California said, about that. about that. They have new rules, new guidelines for Thanksgiving. That includes gatherings, cannot have people from more than 3 households. Well, I guess that means if you've got more than 3 people in your family, you can only you narrow that list down. Who are you going to cut? Aunt Sally and your old drunk Uncle Billy?
Right.
I mean, who's getting the axe?
Right.
Because what if Aunt Sally and Billy are in their 60s and their kids are in their 20s and 30s
Right.
and they want to bring their family to they're SOL.
Right.
Like in my family, that would only allow there would be 2 of them or one of them had to get on out. I know which one I'm going to choose, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I'm just saying if we had to,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
where I'm cutting.
Yeah, no. But see, that's the point that a lot of people are missing in this whole family get-together
Right.
thing, is the fact that some places they're actually saying you're going to have a permit to get your family.
Well, this one says keep
Excuse
households when you spend time with them together.
Yeah.
Don't go to multiple houses. So if all right, traditionally the way it used to happen is
Right,
you
we
go-
eat over here at this house.
You go to
and
lunch at
everybody
this
hangs
family's
out-
house and then you
hangs
go
out
over here.
at the other house.
You can't do that anymore in California.
Yeah.
They're also suggesting the host should collect names and contact info of attendees for contact tracing. Listen, if you don't know who showed up to your Thanksgiving party, what kind of party are you throwing? First off, all gatherings must be held outside. Like people can only go inside to use the bathroom. Gatherings that may occur in outdoor spaces that are covered by an umbrella, canopies, awnings, yada yada yada, must provide that they have 3 sides of space.
Yeah.
So you can't go into like a cabana with less than 3 sides of openings. They can have them if you want to get together with more than three parts of your household or your family. You can go to the park and do it. They're going to allow that.
Yeah.
So you can load up all your family and go to the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear a face mask during all events. You should only have gatherings of 2 hours or less.
Right.
I mean, dude, it takes me 2 hours to eat dinner, and then it takes 4.5 hours to watch a football game.
Right.
So, nah, Bubba, ain't happening.
Yeah.
Singing, chanting, and shouting are strongly discouraged. Those who participate in these activities, if you do so, should wear a mask. You think I'm kidding? Governor Gavin Newsom
Right.
released this in California. This is their quote-unquote suggestions. This is the world we'll live in when Biden wins, when and if.
Yeah, because
That's why you have to get out and
they
vote.
have done said now.
These are suggestions right now, Landy.
They done said that California is a model for what the United States should look like. Should be like.
Thank you, Gavin Newsom, because he's showing us right now. They're suggestions
what,
right now. What do you think's going to happen if Biden wins? They won't become
Look, dude,
suggestions.
look what's going on in New Mexico, man. They got New Mexico shut down, bro. I'm talking about the lady over there in New Mexico. She is completely wrecking New Mexico's economy. There's
Right.
people that are signing up for welfare that have never ever signed up for any government assisted program in their whole entire
They're shutting
life.
it down, dude, for a disease that has a 99.6% chance of survival.
It's not even a pandemic. Let's get real here, people. It's the flu. It's been around forever. Look on the back of a Lysol can. Oh, by the way, it's been taken off a Lysol can.
Has it?
Yeah.
They removed it off Lysol?
Yeah.
The fact that it affected COVID.
They took it off Listerine.
Here's the thing, too, though, man. I mean, look at Spain and UK and Italy. They went total lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of lockdown Biden wants. The kind of lockdown's happening in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of lockdown we've seen in New York, where you don't leave your house just to get supplies
Period.
at all. And you darn sure don't go to church because Lord knows praising Jesus out loud spreads
right.
the Rona.
That's right.
You know, I didn't know if y'all knew this, but there's usually a line of Rona at the entrance of every church.
That's right.
And you got to walk through it to go in and see some Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, look at them now, though. They're spiking like crazy.
Because
and they're fixing to go back down on lockdown.
Yeah, because they didn't go in. Well, what was the country? Was it one of them Scandinavian countries?
Well, Denmark and all of them,
Yeah.
Netherlands.
Yeah,
Sweden.
they're not having anything going on.
No. Because they opened it up. They said we're not going to do this. We encourage people to be adults and wear masks where
If you're
available.
sick, stay home.
If you can, if you're sick, stay home.
Right.
Make the proper decision. If you're diabetic, have heart issues, COPD,
Right.
breathing issues, stay home.
Right.
Pick and choose where you're going to go
Exactly.
until this dies down or until we figure this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And look where they're at. They're not spiking. But even if they were, it's 99.6% chance of survival rate.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you got to lean on that, in my opinion. So you have to make that decision as an adult whether or not you want to get out and deal with it or not. We always talk about what's your number that will finally freak you out.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's at 33% survival rate, will you actually stay home? I don't know. That seems pretty dire. But we will never get there because that's not the case with this current situation. But, go and make all we don't live in California, I guess, for lack of a better phrasing, because they're crazy right now. And it's going to get crazy. And it's going to get crazy tonight. I don't care what happens, what turnout you see. It's either going to be a bunch of I told you so's, or if he were to lose, Trump were to lose, it's going to be a bunch of I told you so's. If Biden were to lose, it's going to be a bunch of we're going to burn this place down because Mama needs a new pair of shoes. If she's going to go into the Trump new era, we got to go buy a Gucci purse because Trump's going to hold people down where we can't afford a Gucci purse on our $12 an hour job.
That's right.
Which you shouldn't be buying a Gucci purse when you make $12 an hour anyway.
That's exactly right.
Unless you're single and living your best
life. But I feel like that. I feel like that no matter which way this goes, things need to change in Congress. I'm tired of these pork belly bills being passed. If you look, everybody needs to go to Google and type in, the stimulus bill for 2020, and look at it. Look and see where your money actually went. Do you realize that if they hadn't stacked all that extra money on there for all these other places and fine arts buildings, $2 billion, and all this other stuff, if they hadn't put all that other stuff, every American in the United States of America would have got almost $7,000.
Yeah. But hell no, Kennedy Center needed new bathroom doors.
Yeah.
We had to do something.
Yeah.
Where the dignitaries supposed to go around and pay each other on the
NASA, $2 billion.
A private company, $2 billion.
Yeah.
That's what NASA is. Don't forget that. NASA is not an agency.
Right.
It's a private company that's contracted through the government.
Right.
So it's craziness. So speaking of craziness, look,
we can do crazy.
This isn't the only big election going on.
That's right.
Actually, Ballinger City Council is going on. If you have not got out and vote, go vote. The precincts are up and running. 600 Strong Avenue is your main hub there. It's a voting office. They're open now until 7 p.m. Go vote. And they'll stay open as long as the line's out there.
Right.
If there's a line, they'll stay open. So go vote. It is very important. We have so many races happening here locally that make a big deal, about things that are happening in our community. Now, there's a community, though, in Kentucky, and I wanted to touch on this because this out here is actually, this might be more important, dude, than the presidential election for this small town. It's all about, would it be perception? That's what I'm looking for. Justification. It's all about how important is it to you? And this right here might be the most important thing to them. And I think it's something we need to follow, actually, as the night progresses tonight. Guys, we need to keep this in mind, in the back of our minds. Because there's a small town out in a holla out in Kentucky called Rabbit Hash. And they're elected a new mayor.
Okay.
All right. Now, this town has gone through ups and downs that make Ballinger and Winters and Robert Lee and these towns that make it look like a joke.
Right.
And they need to desperately need the mayor. Now, this town's about the size of Rowena.
Right.
All right. Just so you just understand. Looking for a new mayor. Yeah. And the candidates, it's a long and extensive list. And it consists of 13 dogs, a donkey, a rooster, a dead cat, and apparently one actual human who actually has no chance of winning the election.
Right.
Around 400 people live there, like we said, and they've been electing animals as their unofficial mayor for 22 years.
Yeah.
The current mayor is a pit bull named Bryn.
Yeah.
But her full name is Bryneth Paltrow. Like the actress.
Yeah.
But apparently she's getting crushed right now by a French bulldog named Wilbur.
Uh-oh.
So far, they've only ever elected dogs.
Right.
The closest non-canine this year is Higgins, the donkey.
Right.
He's currently in 7th place.
Right.
And they're not even listing results for the human candidate.
Right.
Because he out.
Yeah. You ain't got a chance.
In actuality,
these animals got more sense than you do.
That's right. The actuality of it all, this whole thing, they're not just backwoods, hollered up Kentucky hillbillies.
Right.
Even though that's what you would think, right?
Right.
In a town of 400 in the hills of Kentucky. It's actually what it is. It's a fundraiser every so often for the Rabbit Hash Historical Society.
Right.
They're trying to raise about 50 grand. And as of last night, they've raised about 20.
Right.
Obviously,
power to them.
yeah. Obviously, I mean that's pretty good, dude. 20 grand for a town of 400 people.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is running an election.
Right. For animals?
Yeah, for animals.
Yeah. The mayor?
And here's the thing: you want to chime in if you're an animal lover. If you'd rather pick somebody other than the president,
Right. Vote for
candidates.
There you
Here
go.
you go. You can go to
Cast your vote.
I don't understand this website, but you can go to GiveButter.
GiveButter.com.
GiveButter.com
Okay.
/RHHS.
Huh. GiveButter.com.
/RHHS. You have to give at least $1, and the candidate with the most money wins. So basically,
How
if your
awesome is
animal's cute, you're going to take that one home.
Man, I vote for the donkey.
I think so.
I think he could take him.
I think so. Well, there's already enough jack wagons
Yeah.
in the in government.
I mean, there ought to be, that's what we ought to do here.
Just open it up to.
Yeah.
There's an idea for the Humane Society.
Yeah.
You
There
know.
you go.
So, alrighty, well, there you go. and the dogs are awesome. So I was looking at the picture. So there's, y'all follow that. Hopefully, maybe I can follow up on it and give you all the results tomorrow of the election up there in Rabbit Hash, Kentucky.
That's right.
All right, it's 8:45. Running a little bit behind, but a lot of stuff to go over.
Right?
Whew. Big news. I'm excited. Kind of geeking out a little bit.
What?
We have Terry McBride
What?
coming in studio in the 9 o'clock hour.
No way, dude.
If you don't know who Terry McBride is, I promise you do if you listen to 90s country.
Right.
Hell, if you listen to country,
Right.
you know who Terry McBride is. He was
That's
a front
two kinds-
man
that's-
and bass player.
Two kinds of music.
Country and Western.
Right.
He was a McBride and the Ride, which kind
Yeah.
of rose to fame with their number one hit, Sacred Ground.
Yep.
Several hits.
Yep.
They've also written music for Terry has written music for every major country star, including Brooks and Dunn. He wrote Cowgirls, Don't Cry.
Right.
Amarillo Sky.
They don't cry. They get even.
So I mean, this man is he's more so a songwriting legend than he is at this point. In my mind, he's a musical legend.
Right.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm geeking out about it, man.
My boots went to smoking when he started playing.
Yep. And he's a superstar because he was in 8 Seconds. Him and his
That's right.
band.
That's right.
They played the party scene over there.
That's
It's
right.
good time, man. He wrote No More Crying for that song as well. Then wrote some songs for Josh Ward, Cody Johnston, Tristan Merez, who are some Texas country artists.
Right.
Good stuff, man. He'll be here in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk to him about his latest single, in his foray into Texas country. He's from Lampasas.
Yeah.
He's a country boy.
Good place to
Good
be
old
from.
Texas boy, man.
That's right.
All right, listen, Jeff Landy Morning Show being brought to you by Ballinger Home Health and Hospice. We'll catch up with you in the 9 o'clock hour after all of this. See you in a
Bye,
bit.
Morning, Facebook. How y'all doing this morning?
Is a donkey a Democrat? Actually, no, he's not. He's an independent.
He's an independent.
But I heard he's a bit of a jackass.
That's right. He's a bit of an
There you go,
ass.
here all day.
He's a bit of an ass.
He's a bit of an ass. A
Yeah.
little stubborn.
Yeah, a little stubborn. May have to get some more of that.
Sometimes you're just born like this.
You want another shot of that there, brother?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Brother.
That's pretty good chocolate.
Yeah, that's pretty good chocolate. Okay, let's see who all's on. Misty, good morning, Janie. Good morning, Janie.
Good luck to everyone running. That's right.
Don Reed, good morning, everybody. Good morning, fellas. Barrett, what's happening, brother?
Gwyneth
You can
Paltrow.
cut- I like Steve. You can cut the family members that can't cook. Love it, dude. That is funny.
California is insane.
And I tell you what,
How are they going to tell you what to do at your house?
you think California's bad? Look at Canada. And you know what the Canada Parliament told them? It don't matter what you think. This is what's going to happen. They're fixing it. I mean, Canada, y'all folks. And you know what else they said?
Huh.
They said this is what the world is going to do. Excuse me?
I'm sorry, Bubba. What was that?
You know, I don't think we play that game down here in Texas. Good morning, Lori. How are you doing? How are you doing? 22 hours of eating. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. 2 hours of eating. Hey, I got a quiz for you guys. Today is actually more important than Election Day. It is National Sandwich Day.
I got one in the truck.
Do you?
Guess what kind of sandwich
Egg.
it is?
Egg
Yes,
sandwich.
sir.
It's getting prepared in a Ziploc bag.
That's
isn't it?
exactly right.
It's curing. Okay, so here's the quiz for you. Change things up a little bit. Mr. Buckaloo, good morning. And Barrett, what's up, brother? All right, here's the quiz. What is the #1 sandwich, according to this probably ridiculous survey,
Baloney.
in Texas?
Baloney.
I'm gonna
Brisket.
No,
It's either brisket or bologna.
once you guess it, I want somebody to also tell me why it's the number one sandwich. Because I have an idea.
Okay.
And I don't know for a fact, but I have an idea as to why it's a number one sandwich. Tell you what, let's make it easy. Let's start with something simple. Number one sandwich in Louisiana. Number one tapas sandwich in Louisiana.
Shrimp po' boy.
Po' boy. You're right. Po' boy is number one sandwich in Louisiana. Check this one out. Number one sandwich in New Mexico? Tuna. Tuna's number one sandwich in New Mexico.
Interesting. A tuna sandwich?
A tuna sandwich. All right, let me show you here.
I'm gonna go get us some coffee.
Shrimp po' boy. Bologna because fried.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Yo, Hollywood, what's that?
Hold on, guys. I gotta hustle back. He don't know any better.
It's different. Every place I go, they got their own set of rules.
They do.
I'm just trying to protect whatever y'all want to do.
Everybody have their own set of rules.
No, I'm good. I'm all jacked up on Dr. Pepper. What are you guys up to? What's going on?
I am Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Good to see you,
Oh,
man.
you too.
You too.
I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate the intro. I listened to you guys on the way in. Thanks for the kind words. And I appreciate that. Thanks for having me. Yeah, man. I'm working my way through Texas, man. I was started off in Waco yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And then visited airframes. You know, those guys are at East Austin, Coquette. Then here today, Brownwood, meet you later.
Yeah.
And then my hometown, Lancaster.
Yeah, that's where your Cassie went. I thought Cassie played back in Cassie.
Yeah, my family still lives here. In-laws and brother-in-law, they're all still there. And then working our way back out to Abilene to the storytelling thing out there. Mark and Whitmore, Bruce Robinson, part of that. Ray Wally Hubbard was part of it. He backed out. He's wife goes to do it. He's 70, but you know what?
I don't know if I want you there yet.
He's
He's what's going on.
He's canceled most everything. I mean,
Yeah.
like all of us have.
I get it.
My whole year is like, you know, albums from that straight. He's giving me a project.
Yeah.
And full stuff to talk about too. Like, very like, yeah, we started to look for the, you know, it's encouraging.
Well, yeah.
A lot of stuff.
I listen to you all during the night.
Oh, man.
I was listening to Bear Johnson play.
Yeah, man. I did.
I sit back there going, yeah, get it!
Yeah, 90s.
Come on, woman.
Was a pretty amazing period, man. To come up to step the music was we were having success. We were doing about 200 something days a year. You know, that's just how popular it was. You were having success. You should play. Because everybody was looking at you, whether it was fairs, festivals, honky tonks, whatever. Where were you at? Where were you at? What was that, Santa Fe Junction? Oh, I remember it well, man.
Landy.
Hey, Landy, good to see you, man. You bet. Oh, hell yeah. My cousin was a DJ, KCTL. I remember that. Hey, dude, that's his name. Yeah, that's a great firm.
I graduated in 75.
Oh, from high school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's 77. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be down, man. Yeah, Texas, man, there's no place like it.
Well, I mean, when I got out of school, I went to Navy.
Oh,
Actually, when I got out of college, I was Navy. Then I got out in my army in the States. Well, I'm a machinist, involved in that for years. I'm a machinist also, so
Yeah.
rich bank truck.
Yeah, man.
So I've been everywhere and done it all twice.
Yeah.
Technical purposes.
Yeah.
Cheers, there you go.
Back in the 70s.
Use your bathroom, is your right there?
Yes, sir. Right there.
Right there.
Okay.
When you come in, you're on Facebook. Okay, we found him. Y'all, we found him. We found this dude. He's here. He's here. He's here. He's here. Yeah, shrimp po' boy. That's right. Steve po' boy. Steve
All right, sorry,
Gray
guys.
tuna. Don Reed taco sandwich. Yes, sir. Man's here. We got 15 people watching us.
Well, thanks for watching the Empty Chair
You know
Show.
why? Because we left.
That's right. Because we left.
Yeah.
All right, so the number one sandwich in Texas is the patty melt. And in Oklahoma, it's the patty melt. Now, does anybody know why it's the patty melt in
I
Texas?
have no idea why it's a patty melt.
When I read that, I knew immediately what it was.
What?
Oh crap! Did I tell Chad to come by? I tell you to come by for your deal. Or are you just coming by?
I'm just coming by to see if you have any time.
Hey, Chad.
We might after I got Terry
What's
McBride
up, brother?
in here
Terry McBride's here, man.
for the
I know you
musical
don't know
artist.
who that is.
So, anybody know? Would you know in Texas the patty melt is considered the number one sandwich in Texas and Oklahoma? Do you know why it would be considered the number one sandwich? I have an idea. What
No.
major restaurant chain throughout Texas and Oklahoma is famous for their patty melt?
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
That's the only thing I can think of, honestly. Hunter said, Whataburger! That's right, Hunter. I'm pretty sure you topped that before I said it. Yeah, old Terry McBride. You remember McBride and the Ride from the 90s?
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
him.
yeah.
That's him. So,
Oh, yeah.
Panini in California. Anyway, I'm super excited, man. Put a cape on me, y'all.
That's right.
So, anyway, taco sandwich because anything else would be a blasphemy in Texas. Well, there you go, right?
Yeah.
Wrap that bad boy in a tortilla.
That's right. Taco sandwich.
So I asked about the precinct differences, and I have to get with the top lady to find out why it's like that. The person I asked didn't really know.
And I'm sure it's always been like that.
I'm sure it has.
It just seems odd.
It does seem odd. It doesn't seem legit. It seems crazy that you have to drive to vote for your district to another county or to another town.
Yeah.
Even 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because some folks...
Your district is in Winters?
The district is here. Voting is in Winters. And there may be other districts that are the same way.
Come on
I
back,
haven't
Terry.
looked at all of them.
Right.
Come on in, man.
I'll see this guitar case out here.
Oh, you're good.
Jumbo.
You gotta... Excuse me, Jordan, man. We got something. Bugs rolling in or something.
What's happening?
Little army worm. Yeah, here in the country, man.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
We're getting him wound up with his guitar.
You give one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Two. Okay. A couple of those.
Awesome, awesome.
You know?
I've been listening to it, part of it yesterday and today, this morning.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, brother. All about trying it out. Chad, Chad.
Hey, Chad. What's going on, man?
Chad's running for city council.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
There you go.
And all that brings with it.
Terry, you got a seat right there, boss.
All right,
There's a
man.
camera right there, so you're...
Ooh, you guys are high tech in here.
Yeah, don't let 1947 fool you.
Now
We're
the
high
pressure-
tech around
the
here.
pressure's on, Dan. Now I can,
Yeah, now you really...
I've asked for it. You know?
Terry McBride still has the best hair in country music.
Still have my hair. I'm just thankful for that.
Oh, no
Holy
doubt,
cow.
right?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, let's see here. Who's with us today?
Let's see if I get this.
300 two-stroke. And it's a Capistani replica.
What the hell, Elmer? Why'd you give me an angry face, man? So where'd you start out this morning?
Oh, let's see. I woke up in Abilene.
Okay, so it wasn't that horrible drive for you then.
Nah, it was easy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I'm used to getting up fairly early, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, good deal.
On the way home, I've got to get up about 4:30 to hit these two stations in East Texas.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, hell, I'm thankful people want me to come by, and so it's all good.
Oh, hell, we're grateful to have you guys.
Oh, listen, man.
That's what we always say,
Likewise.
we're just a little, we're not like these big old stations, we're trying to grasp all we can when we can. know,
I
so
love
it's
what
nice to
Texas
have it.
is doing with this music and where you guys have found your audience for this kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know, I mean, I've been writing with a lot of these guys, Joshua Ward and Cody and Tristan.
Well,
like
see,
you mentioned.
yeah, and I didn't know that. And when
Yeah.
I was doing the research, I was like, oh my god,
I had that
I
single.
love those
With,
songs.
I had that single with Josh.
Yes.
It's all about love.
Now
and
my
I wrote
first
that.
my first experience with Josh, see, my mom worked here for 20 years, and so I rented an office as I was independently. And so,
I remember you talking about that.
yeah, so he came in, you know, and I think he was wearing like all camo. He was just because they
Yeah.
didn't have Facebook Live or anything, so it was just an audio interview. He probably maybe had dropped his first single.
That sounds like
Yeah, and we were joking that because he asked me, he's a hunter, you know, he used to be by trade a taxidermist.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you? I didn't even
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. So he,
Wow, I've just gotten to know him last year.
Yeah.
He just reached out for some songs. I sent him 5. He cut 3 of them.
Yeah, that's
so I
awesome.
like this guy.
yeah,
Yeah, he was,
and his voice is great.
his crowd, he's really grown his audience, and he does a great job live. I went down to his thing he has every year called Talk Fest
Okay.
in Conroe. I guess that's near where he's at, you know. And it was impressive, you know. He had 3 or 4 acts there. He had a fantastic crowd. And
Yeah, he's a good dude,
he's
man.
done well. I've written with him. He's come up to Nashville twice, and I've got a little place I write, and he's it's been good. Just kind of getting to know him. Same thing with Cody. I've met Cody, and the day we met him, we wrote a song called "Every Scar Has a Story." That last album, and he's just a good guy. Then I went on the road with him for a little bit, kind of get to know him a little bit, you know. And,
he puts a hell of a show on too.
yeah, man. The guys from here, man, it's a whole different scene because they have a lot of respect for the music and people like me that have kind of come before them. We're in Nashville. It's not really that way anymore. It's all about me there a lot, especially with the young guys.
About to hear it in the now, right?
Yeah, it's just a different mindset. It's just a different crowd.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Texas is still very passionate about this music down here, man.
We are, you know.
Yeah, and it was a reflection of you too, what you're playing, your audience, your crowd here, as well as in the radio business. You know.
Anyway, so we love it, and I changed the format up here. When my mama was here, she had retired. When my mama was here, they went back to a different country, and then I came in, you know, and I don't know anything about radio. My background is project management.
Yeah, I
You know.
remember you mentioned that.
Right, so
You got a
we
good
changed
story.
up.
I passed your story on to a couple people I talked to just about, you're having a little success here. And
Yeah,
turned
a little bit.
stationer. Yeah, well, he said like for 20 years this thing really
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't. It
No.
wasn't. I mean, and the numbers reflected that. And I mean, there's one year they made $17.
Yeah.
It was in the ledger. I was like, is that saying 17?
We're saying the guy that owns the station just didn't matter.
Yeah. Well, they're big corporation. You know, not big corporation, but they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And this was a loss.
They owned other things.
Yeah,
This is one of
this
them.
was a loss, and it was fine. It wasn't much paid attention to. And then they kind of split off, and one of the brothers wanted to put their hand in it, so he took it. My owner Gary, and he's very hands off because as long as I'm returning that black, he doesn't
Yeah,
care.
man. Heck yeah.
You know, he just like do
Stay
whatever.
out of the way.
Just don't put me in the red.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, sound like a plan.
Cool, man.
You know, so the only way you can run it though is just going to be you and nobody else. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the downfall of it.
Yeah.
You know, we want to do so much more, but I just don't have enough time.
Yeah. So what's the station run like? How many hours are you?
We're 24,
24
but we're
hours?
we're automation after the 10 o'clock hour.
Who do you
full-on
use after
automation.
that? Do you have a program that you
No.
use?
No.
You just program the
Yep,
music
program
in?
with commercials. We have a lot of Texas Farm Bureau and TSN top of the hour.
TSN,
So and
yeah.
we have a lot of ag news mixed
sure.
in there because we're an agricultural network.
It's a lot like my hometown, like
Oh,
KCOI
yeah.
is a lot like
Yeah.
that. TSN News and then
Matter of fact, my brother still from 1995 tells a story about they lost 2 games that year in football,
Land Passes.
and the first one was against Lampasas.
Wow.
Back in '93 or '94.
They were
Yeah.
just starting to have a little. It was so bad when
Yeah.
I was young. I think we went 0-10 my senior year. It was like we were way out district.
Oh, so y'all won the district?
No, we were
The other way.
Other way.
The other way.
Yeah,
Y'all can tell you from Texas, he's like, he automatically gets it.
we had
Oh,
Johnny Lamb Jones the year
Oh.
before, Olympic gold medalist, and we didn't even win the district. You know, it's like that's how bad we were back then. But they're 2 in the state this year, I think.
Yeah, Lampasas is really
They've
good
turned
this
it
year.
around, man. They have really,
Yeah.
because it was not like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I remember that year we played Lampasas because my brother did because he was right. You opened the program, it was Lampasas' program.
Yeah.
It looked like grown ass men. There was dudes with goatees
Sure.
and it looked like the scene from
Some hay hauling ranching
yeah.
kids.
I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
seen Necessary Roughness, but look at the scene where the convicts come play the guys in college.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Hey, and Lampass
Put it on
has
'em.
never been a cultural hotbed. It's like a lot of white guys down there. You know,
Yeah.
it's like not a lot of big,
Welcome to Ballinger.
athletic-looking people either.
Yeah.
Though, really.
Just
I mean,
get after it, though.
It's
sprinters.
good old country
Yeah,
boys.
I mean, it's they've got a really good coach. They've really turned it around. A great quarterback, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have a few good.
And that's what we always say
players
here.
around.
We're in the same damn boat. You ain't gonna find a bunch of world crushing athletes. But
But
you're
how
gonna find a
big
lot of
is
guys get-
how big is Ballinger? How many?
We're
people?
3A.
295,000 people. No.
Yeah,
Probably-
where are they?
At
all
best,
scattered?
like 27, something like that.
See,
you know?
Lampass is definitely bigger than that,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
still a small town.
Yeah.
You know, it's growing, man. You know, we're 68 miles from Austin. I never would have thought it, but the sprawl has gone all the way to Lampasas now.
I was gonna say it's probably a good thing that you got out of the Austin area before today.
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
it was.
despite how it goes.
You can't afford to live in Austin anymore. For a guy like me, a struggling musician back in the day,
Yeah.
you just went to South Austin. It was cheap, or way north Austin. But now, man, if you're in the music business like a young guy, you can't even afford to live there anymore.
No, we have a lot of guys coming out of Austin. you know.
Property taxes are ridiculous,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
nuts.
just a tough place to live. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even resemble the city it was when I was a kid. It's just like, it's just exploded.
It doesn't resemble the city it was when I was there
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Good point.
Just trying to. I was working in San Antonio, so
Yeah.
I'd go to Austin. I'd work in Austin quite a bit, downtown
Yeah.
areas on some new commercial
You saw
buildings.
it,
Yeah,
crane on
and-
every corner. And,
Yeah, and
it's
now
really-
it's. I haven't been to Austin, and not for any other reason than recently. It's just lack of desire. Just
Yeah.
beforehand, I just would never made it down there.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I have zero interest.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the vibe.
Yeah.
70s, it was so cool because the progressive country thing was exploding. You know,
Yeah.
Jerry Jeff and Willie had moved back, and dang, it was cool. Then the 80s was cool because Stevie Ray Vaughan, there was a whole blues resurgence happening down there. It was so cool.
That's
I got
awesome.
to tour with Stevie. I opened a whole tour. I was with a band called Bill Carter and the Blame. Bill and his wife are writing songs for
Uh-huh.
Stevie Ray. And then that's who I ended up writing with, and that's what led to McBride and the Ride, those guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man.
it was cool. I left Delbert McClinton. I was playing bass with Delbert, and you know, Leroy Parnell. We
Yeah.
had a little cover band for a couple years, and just trying to survive.
I had a guy.
Austin.
Bernie Nelson was in here the other day. You familiar with Bernie?
Yeah, who is that?
He's-
Songwriter?
Yeah. He's a songwriter, and he was talking about Leroy was talking about putting something or working on something apparently as well, another project. Or
Yeah, Leroy's
something.
kind of back and kind of got his life together a little bit.
Yeah.
He's so talented, Leroy still is. We went out and did the Delbert cruise a couple years ago, and you know, of course, it's his audience. But
Yeah.
man, Leroy did great. He sang good. He's struggled over the years just with personal stuff.
Sure.
You know, with some demons and things, but I think he's kind of come back out on the other side of that.
Well, you know, and Bernie he's a songwriter. He's been all over the country and writing songs in and out of country music. And hell, he had a book, and it's a very good book called Honky Tonk Angels. And what it is, it's stories. Now it's a book of faith.
Was he out promoting that or something?
Yeah, and he's got a new single out to Texas Country.
Oh, I
He
see.
he moved. He was in Nashville, and now he's moved down to Fredericksburg.
Uh-huh.
Which I think if you watch it, you're gonna be around for a little while in Texas Country. Fredericksburg, I think you're gonna start to see that kind of
Yeah.
become more of a hub than
I
Austin.
love
let's
it.
say.
I just booked Kerrville. They have a nice
Yeah.
theater there. And Fredericksburg is on the single. I really want to go by and visit those people there too at some point.
Yeah, good people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a good town.
It is. It always has been. That's near Lampasas, so we used to go there a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Fredericksburg.
Well, he said, you know, again, it's one of those changes, though. You know, he said it's where,
Yeah.
you know, where it used to be 10 years ago. The weekends were crazy.
Real estate's
Yeah.
ridiculous there now, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine. They said the weekends were crazy 10 years ago, and now the whole week is crazy
Yeah.
because of the tourists.
So close
You know?
to San Antonio too,
Uh-huh.
you know, and Austin. Yeah, everybody with money used to go there and shop. And
Exactly. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
we'd go spend a day there and get drunk on wine and from all the wineries there. Or there.
Oh,
I should
yeah,
say that.
yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Texas is just it's its own thing, man. I try to explain to people who don't know or haven't been, but there's no way to. You just got to get down here and see what's going on, you know.
Right. I mean, I love it. You know what's funny is I didn't until I rented that office. I wasn't real keen on Texas country. This was I can't tell how long ago this was. This was Jason Bolin and this kind of guy way.
Was
they
it
had-
just kind of coming around?
Yeah, they had just kind of started.
It wasn't great yet. or-
No, and
Yeah.
I'm not talking bad about these guys.
No, no,
but,
no.
But the thing is, some of them were very underproduced.
Yeah.
And very raw, and their vocals weren't right there.
Yeah, man. And,
And
it's
so-
still some of that today.
And it is. I can trust me. I get MP3s all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Up
and
and
I'm just-
comers and
My
yeah.
God, you know, if that didn't sound like it was recorded in a bathroom on an iPhone, it might be something there.
Well, there's so many ways to do it. Some people think, hell, we were able to do it, you know,
Right,
right
but
there
see,
in our bedroom.
when I first listened to it, and I was just kind of like, and this was the ass in me. I was kind of like, it's just a bunch of old boys who couldn't make it in Nashville and try to start their own thing.
Right.
You know, some guys had great voices, and you're just like,
Yeah.
okay. And most of them know that we were receiving at that point in time when I was working right there. My mom would come in and throw down a thing and say, that's what we got today.
Like go through here.
Yes, listen to it, see what you think, just for shits and giggles, you know. Don't
Yeah.
listen to it. I think iTunes had just kind of started to really roll, so I could download everything to my iPod or my phone. I can't remember. Anyway, and and I was like, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's pretty good. You know, actually, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
You know, look, we got going. Who's William Clark Green?
Right.
He sounds pretty good. I like him.
I know it.
You
And then
know,
all of a
so-
sudden, those guys start having a career, you know.
You do, exactly.
I mean, some of these guys are rock stars. You know, Kevin Fowler and guys like that. Man,
Well,
they-
it's
they
funny
do
thing
well.
about Fowler. You know, we talk about in the '90s and the shows,
Yeah.
like Garth Brooks and stuff. Fowler, I wasn't a big fan of. Like, if you put Fowler on the radio, I was kind of like, I mean, he's all right.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
vocally and.
But then I go watch his show, and I'm like, this dude is a beast.
Whole
You know,
different- whole
yeah, it's a
different
whole
thing.
different thing.
Interesting, man.
It's
He
so
has
good.
really done well.
Yeah, he has.
A lot of those guys, I mean, Wade Bowen and a few of those guys are just, they're killing it out
And
there.
now they're just their own niche. You know, they just
Yeah.
they'll be eternal here in Texas forever. You know, at this point.
And it's funny, you know, as a songwriter, there's really not any money in it for us, you know, as far as I write with all these guys because I just like them. You
Yeah.
know? But we can have a #1 song, you know, it just, there's no revenue there. But for them, there is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about the artist. I mean, they've got that following, they're selling a few CDs, some merch, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've already found my audiences here from back in the McBride and the Ride days. I'm kind of grandfathered in.
Yeah.
My followers on socials, majority, a lot of them are here, man. So I just got to try to tap into it and see if I can't wake up.
Got one here.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to promo this thing. I'm like, I don't want to focus. I want to focus on Terry McBride. You know, I want to make sure it's everybody. And I'm like, but it's this guy.
But whatever you want to do, man.
It's
I'm
this
all
guy here.
I'm all in. Yeah, it all ties
Yeah.
to me, and it's all good.
Yeah.
I use it all, you know, to get my foot in the door, whatever I can do moving forward.
Right.
You know, I did a thing, Chuck Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Up in KHYI, is that it? Dallas?
I believe so.
That's it, called The Range. He has a countdown show on Sunday, and he featured me this Sunday and played a few things off the album. But it was interesting just listening to the countdown.
Right.
All the artists, all the songs. But like you said, just trying to, you know, kind of put a music with those names that I've been singing. But
Yeah.
it's interesting, man.
I know my daughter messaged me yesterday. She said, "I'm trying to do a country playlist. Do you have any suggestions?"
Oh,
I was like really? I mean, yeah. I mean, I do, but I mean, I say just
cool.
anybody. So I gave her this whole exhausted list of like up and comers. I tried to. I was just like, here, check these guys out. This guy, this whatever, you know. And at the end of it all, she goes, "You didn't list George Strait." I was like, yeah, that was kind of assumed.
That was a given.
Yeah, that was one of those assumptions, you know.
For sure, man.
So yeah, anyway.
I mean, growing up in Texas, when I started going to Nashville, like that was a goal, you know, if I could just get a George Strait cut. And the first cut I got was John Anderson from that movie, 8 Seconds.
Yeah.
And then we had the song on there.
Yep.
And then my second cut was George Strait, man. It was like a dream come true. I went, man.
See, y'all lucky. Y'all got a movie credit out of that. Yeah. See, just add it to the resume.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
tell everybody I'm in that movie.
I'm in that movie.
For about 6 seconds.
For about 6 seconds. I'm the guy.
It's
It's
like
like
it was so much fun. We went down to San Antonio that day. Of course, we're supposed to be in Las Vegas at the awards show,
Yeah.
you know, or the ceremony, the buckle ceremony. And we're just at a Ramada Inn in San Antonio shooting that. We must have shot that for like 14-hour day.
Wow.
And we just got a small, tiny
There-
segment of
are
it.
y'all playing at that point, or
Yeah.
are y'all just
We're playing
you're
all
actually
day.
playing
We're,
it?
you know, we're just playing it over and over and over. And Luke Perry, and of course he was so nice. Stephen Baldwin was there that day, and Tuff Hedeman was there, and Lane Frost's wife was there.
That's
She's always
awesome.
on set to kind of be a advisor role type thing.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. I really wanted to do it, and we were so busy. Management didn't want us to do it. I said, this is important to me. I want to do that and be a part of it, and
Yeah.
something that'll be, now it's become like cowboy culture. That movie is so classic.
It's like that classic meme. Guys never cry, and they said, "Really? Have you seen it? Have you seen 8
8
seconds?"
seconds, yeah. I watched it. My youngest is just graduated high school, but She had never seen it, so we sat down. It was so cool. Yeah, she wasn't expecting it to be
See,
so
my daughter
sweet,
didn't
you know?
either.
Yeah,
You
she
know?
didn't know what to expect.
She
It was
didn't know
going to be a
he
cowboy
passed-
movie, you know?
She didn't even know that. I think my young didn't even know he died.
Oh, it's a love story.
You
It's
know?
wonderful. A
Yeah.
little family story, whole family, and the music's fantastic in it. And
It really
it's
is.
so cool. I went to the world premiere at Billy Bob's, and it was a whole lot of fun.
So you wrote the John Anderson song. Did you write the No More Crime?
Yeah, I wrote that
Okay, so I was
too.
gonna say, so you just got to sing both, or you got both.
Yeah, I
the
got
songs
both
in
those
there.
songs. And actually, John recorded "Burning Up the Road," which was the title
Right.
of our very first album.
Yeah.
You know? But a huge thrill. It was
That's
just
awesome.
I love John Anderson. And it was just it was. Then we were off and running. As far as songwriting, I just slowly started getting other cuts.
Yeah.
Another one.
Oh, I
with
mean,
George.
the list is exhausting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
a-
great though.
Well, all these years later, yeah, I put in a lot of work, but it's nice to see that. It looks good all these years later.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it for sure.
Yeah, hey, we're excited here because we actually have a vocal credit on the movie.
What is it?
It's not even released yet. It's a scary movie. It's a B movie. Probably maybe.
But what did they use? Some radio stuff or
Yeah,
something?
we cut a like a promo, like good morning, welcome back to the show,
And they needed a radio little thing?
Come see us at the Lone Star Barbecue Showdown, and that's so it's like you could imagine as they're doing like B footage flying over the area, and you hear us in the background, and then
Sure.
anyway, and so we're gonna get an audio credit. Hopefully,
so cool.
God willing. I don't know, though they may cut it.
How did you get in connected with that? Who was it?
Oh, they shot it in Rowena, and I got a buddy of mine, me and the newspaper guy run together here on all things media in our
Yeah,
small
cool,
area.
cool.
And he's like, dude, they want like and I interviewed the director, brought him in, interviewed him and everything. He was like, hey, let's do it. And we started talking about old movies and
Cool.
B scary movies. And,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big geek.
Yeah.
We're talking about this, that, and
Yeah.
and he was like, dude, we need to get you in there somehow. I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, I'll do anything but nudity. I'll do that. It depends what you pay. Wife won't like it, but or anybody else. But yeah, so she anyway. So he's like, "Oh, do audio thing." I said, "Cool, man. That's good enough for me."
I was with those guys yesterday in Waco. They had a funny thing they were talking about. Oh, they just telling jokes. They're like, I recently starred in a XXX movie. I'm the husband that leaves the house early in the morning. That was his role.
That was
That'd
been my role. Yeah.
I was the
I'm the guy that
repair.
left.
I was the repairman who had to leave. One of two left the young man behind while I went to the parts store.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Oh,
that'd be about right. But yeah, so all right, we're gonna
Those
go.
are Mike Crow. Do you know those guys?
Yeah,
Waco?
I don't know them, no,
Shooter,
but I know of
Shooter.
them.
They're great guys. Crow Man and Nash, they're called, but
Yeah,
man, they're cool. They're
that's what we strive for.
they go back to that era, Same with '90s. Mike's probably my age,
Yeah.
but he was great. It was really interesting to visit
That
with him.
about right?
All right.
Yeah, I tried to go by and do a visitation with Billy Joe Shaver yesterday, but it wasn't until today. But,
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's Jerry Jeff, Billy Joe. I mean,
yeah, some Johnny Bush.
yeah,
Big
Johnny
Josh
went.
Martin.
Yeah.
And I was like, we must have played every Johnny Bush song in high school. If you go two-step.
Oh, yeah.
Or something, but.
Here we go. We got about 10
Right on.
seconds.
All right.
Well,
You got it?
uh-oh. Turning everything off here.
That's right.
That's that professionalism right there.
Yeah.
As long as it's just
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Good country, AC/DC.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. Like to mix it up a little bit. We had words in it. All right, here we go. Welcome back. It is 9:17 here in the Agaplex. Hanging out with Jeff and Landy. It is the Jeff and Landy Morning Show, being brought to you by Ballinger Home Health and Hospice. And I have turned off almost every machine in front of me. I think we got
What are you doing?
one job: push buttons.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to look. I'm nervous, dude.
We're under pressure.
We have a walking superstar in our midst right here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Who
Let's
is
pass this legend.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Terry, go ahead and stand up and take a bow. No,
Terry McBride is here hanging out with us. Told y'all he would show up. I wasn't making it up like most of y'all thought.
No.
Yeah.
We're pulling in the big names.
I'm a man of my word. I was looking forward to
Hey,
it.
thank you for that.
Hey, this has been a fun experience for me. I mean, of course, grew up in Texas. That's
Right.
where my music began.
Right.
It's funny that I'm kind of full circle back to my audience is still here in Texas.
Yeah, AM.
And AM, I'll take them AM, FM, however we can get them, man.
That's right.
They're out there, and that's the cool thing about what you guys are doing. I mean, you've got this Texas music we were talking earlier. I've written with a lot of these guys from Texas. They're so passionate about what they do.
Right.
Music means so much to them, and also guys like me who've come before them. they have such respect. It's just it's really it's a wonderful thing to see, which is not always the case where I've been writing in Nashville for a lot of years. It's just a different vibe. It's a different scene completely. But these guys have really sort of renewed my faith a little bit in the music
and
business.
that makes me want to go to Nashville and shake these people. Like, we do not realize. So when you're riding with these guys, I mean, is it? What's it feel like? I guess I don't know, because I'm never gonna be that status, even with my own children. To be able to sit down when these guys knew who you were, they picked up a guitar maybe because of something you put out or wrote, or I mean, that's got to have a cool feeling.
Well, it's flattering. I mean, if you do find those guys, and I do, and it's different. I've been writing with a lot of young artists because I'm at that period in my career where I'm in my mentoring phase, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it a bit. I like
No,
it. It kind of
it's
keeps
cool,
it keeps me relevant and somewhat cool as well. There's a young artist from Fort Worth, a guy named Drake Milligan, who signed to Broken Bow. That's like where Jason Aldean's. It's a big label in Nashville.
Wow. Okay.
But he's a young, cool guy, more of a traditional kind of guy. And I've been working with him over the last year. I have 3 songs on his new album. It comes out in 21. But a great kid, great guy, talented fella. So projects like that are wonderful. I mean, still getting some songs cut in Nashville. I had a song I wrote with Ronnie Dunn and Chris Stapleton. I wrote it 11 years ago, and Trace Adkins just cut it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So you never know.
It took a while to take off.
Well, talk about that.
You never
But
know.
talk about that stable right there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Chris Stapleton and Ronnie Dunn and then
Yeah.
Trace Adkins.
Yeah.
Well, I was on the road when McBride and the Ride from the 90s was winding down, about 95. Fortunately, I was starting to get some songs recorded. Jeff, like I was talking to you, one of my first cuts was George Strait. I went to Nashville wanting to get a George Strait cut and miraculously got a record deal out of pitching my songs after many trips. I mean, it wasn't just like I walked into town and got a deal. I'd been going back and forth.
It doesn't work that way?
No, it can sometimes. It's crazy because no matter where you come from, what you're doing, what you're trying to do, no two paths really are the same. You talk to anybody who's made it. Some have been there for 10, 11 years.
Right.
And, that overnight sensation is crazy, but it might take a decade to get there. But for me, it was a lot of trips back and forth from Texas to Nashville, trying to meet people. And then, like I was telling you off air, I was playing with Delbert McClinton. I was his bass player for a couple years in the 80s. And, Leroy and Jimmy Dale Gilmore, Johnny Duncan, country artists from here. A lot of my starving musician phase era.
Yeah.
Singing bass player days. That's what I was.
Singing bass
That's
player.
what I was.
There you go.
See, bass players, listen, there is a chance.
Yeah.
You could almost get a gig if you were a singing bass player because you double up. You can play and you can sing. And with McBride and the Ride, I was the lead vocalist, but I was the bass player in the band. So it was kind of unusual. But I mean, it's been an interesting journey for me. I mean, here today and on from here moving forward, it's just some doors are opening, and that's what it's about in any business or anything you're doing in life. You take those opportunities where you can get them, and that's what's brought me here today.
Well, talk about opportunities. Yeah, I mean, I got the phone call say, "Hey, do you want Terry McBride to come hang out with us?" I was like, "Who?" I said Terry McBride. I was kidding.
Are you calling the right station?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is AM in a cotton patch, right?
Yeah, right.
No, we love having you.
I've lived out in Lubbock. I've been everywhere. I mean, I'm from Lampasas, so
There you go.
I mean, I get it. I love that small town life, and a lot of my family still. I'll be there later tonight visiting with them, and I mean, I get it. And the thing about it is, no matter where you're at, these areas, they're music loving. Texas is like no other place. Maybe Australia. I mean, I went there. They're a lot like Texans. I mean, they've got their own set of rules. They're sort of a little lawless. But they're a head-button, beer-drinking, music-loving
We actually have listeners in Australia.
Well, there you go. That might be part of the reason why.
I think we determined at one point in time we had 5 listeners outside the U.S., which officially makes us international.
There you go. Take it.
It's
But we
like
actually have 2 listeners in Poland.
Whoa.
it's that radio spin. That makes
Wow.
us 2 equals 100, and we're international.
Wow.
Costa Rica, South America,
I'm
Mexico.
gonna use that on my socials.
That's
There
what
you
you
go.
got to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
if you get one person acknowledging you from out of the country, you're now international and you're good to go.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
can always
Isn't
be
that
counted
right?
back on that.
Isn't that how it works?
I follow that. Of course, with socials these days, you can pull up any information you want
Right.
about yourself or your followers.
Right.
And it's interesting to see exactly like you said where they're coming from, and
No, it's
it's a
fun.
big part of networking, and it's great these days. I mean, that's something that's really been interesting for me from back in the day where like this I had to go door to door only. There were no socials. There was no way to do it
Right.
other than hope to get your song
Go with a handful of CDs or
Right,
a
that's
demo or whatever
Right.
it is.
That's
Right,
it.
right.
That's it. And
Tapes.
it worked. I mean, when things take
Well,
off.
I can almost assure you that I can get you on the radio at our friend's place.
Yeah.
You know, who am I talking about? The guy in Poland? What's he-
Raphael?
Raphael.
Yeah,
Come
so
on,
there you go.
Raphael's got a radio. He
Well-
works at Texas Country Radio Station in Poland.
Well,
I'll take it.
I tell you,
Yeah.
what, they love music out there. If you want to talk about branching out, they love this from Texas country out in the different countries.
Yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
So we're covering what you're doing currently, and we do. I wanted to touch on the past, obviously, in case you weren't just now catching up with us. We are sitting down with Terry McBride. He's been in country music forever. If I feel like, I mean, as long as I've ever really paid attention.
Well, my
to
dad
it.
was a country singer,
Yeah.
touring musician, artist.
So you've been doing this.
I've grown up with it. There was music in my house constantly, so it just was a way of life for me,
Right.
and it was something that I loved early on. And one of those kids that wanted to be just like his dad. When I grew up, and my dad passed away in '92, but I did tour with him 3 years out of high school. We had our own bus, and William Morris was booking my dad. He was having some chart singles back in the late '90s, and so we were. I mean, the late '70s, and so we were doing cool stuff, touring with Ronnie Millsap, Barbara Mandrell, people
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
Right out of high school, it was a huge thrill and a great way to sort of, get educated about what touring life could be and what all it takes to, show up and be professional. My dad was extremely professional, very gifted musician. We had a recording studio that was very popular. A lot of great musicians from Austin would come, and we would hire them, and a couple of those took me under their wing, and that's how I kind of got into the Austin music scene, was
Right.
through Reese Winan in particular, an amazing keyboard player that was playing with Delbert McClinton and went on to play with Stevie Ray Vaughan, who now plays with Joe Bonamassa. And so he just sort of took me in and said, man, I've got a cool gig that you'd be perfect for. And it was really a cocktail gig at the Hyatt downtown Austin.
Heck yeah.
With these amazing musicians playing 5 to 9, 6 days a week. He got me that gig and then introduced me to Leroy Parnell, and then we put a band together, and I was off and running. And in a little group of very respected people, so overnight, all of a sudden I was kind of looked at differently,
Right.
Better opportunities were coming, and later that segued that into Delbert McClinton, touring with him for 2 years, and then focusing on writing. I eventually left Delbert only because, and Delbert's on my new album, I have a duet on there with Delbert. It tells you a little bit about my life with Delbert. The song is called "Went for One and Stayed Till Two."
Yeah, you
So
go.
it's an autobiographical song, to say the least.
Yeah.
And then the title album is a song I wrote with Chris Stapleton, and it features Patti Loveless, one of my favorite female vocalists of all times. She was gracious enough to send her the song, and she liked it, and the rest is country western history, as they
What
say.
are you doing bringing all this down to Texas country, man? I mean,
Well, those are just people that I love, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
and
awesome.
that's the cool thing about these opportunities. I'm in control now. I can do anything I want.
Right.
I have no, there's no box that I have to stay in. I can do anything I want. I run the label. I run the show. And so I can bring in who I want. I can sing what
That's
I want.
awesome.
And what I sing and what I do is country. And fortunately for me, Texas has sort of embraced that. I don't have to kind of design music to fit here. What I like to do just seems to fit.
It does.
So, and that's a plus and such a
We've
cool thing for
talked
me.
probably ad nauseum with artists who come in, young guys who come in here, and we've said, what's crazy? A lot of these sound that's coming out of Texas country, a lot of it hits back to what was coming out in the '90s
Yeah.
in country, because
Exactly.
those are the kids who grew up in it.
That's it. I have those fans. I either have the original fans from the '90s, or I have their kids who grew up with
Right.
the music of their parents from the '90s,
Right.
and then I have a little new crop of fans from this latest music, and so it's been interesting. I've been playing a lot in Texas. Next year, most of the dates we're booking are in Texas, so
There you go.
it's a great. I'm gonna have to get property back down here again. I can tell. So
I got some. I'll
Good
say I got for it. Well, speaking of music and getting a new group of folks to come in and listen to them, we do have a single queued up. It's called
Cool.
"Calling All Hearts."
All
It's
right.
his first single to official Texas radio.
All right.
Terry McBride hanging out with us here in the studio, and here we go.
cool. Sounds just like it.
It does. That's it. We got it
Sounds
right.
just like you.
I recognize that fiddle
Do
part.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Jeff, I'm gonna have to roll.
All right.
What?
And yeah, dude, I gotta stroll out of here. But Terry, it's been a pleasure to
Man,
even
nice to meet you.
Just even sit down in the
Oh,
same
man.
place, man, and
I was
because
looking forward to it.
I was one of the idiots out there
Hey,
rocking. Yeah.
that's what made it all happen back then, man.
You know,
That's
and
what made
having
it
fun
happen.
with everybody, and
You bet, man.
it's so.
I remember it well, and it was just a great experience for me, man. It's led me to where I am really today. That gave me a sort of a little springboard into everything else I've done since, you know.
Right, and usually, man, we drove. I can't tell you how many miles we'd drive. You'd play in Austin, and we'd leave San Angelo after work on
Oh, man.
Friday at 5 o'clock and drive our ass off and be in
Man.
Austin in 3 hours.
Yeah, Austin was so much fun.
And-
That was a hotbed for us
And
back
we'd
in the
be
day.
out there at the, what was it, the Melody Ranch? Not the
Yeah,
Melody,
there was a Dance
uh,
Across Texas.
Dance Across Texas.
That was a big one. Remember that?
Something South.
Yes, Silver Dollar South.
Silver Dollar
Yeah,
South.
that was a great one.
Silver Dollar
North. Those were killer. Yeah.
The Lumber Yard.
The Lumber Yard. Oh
Dude,
man,
I hung
played
out-
there with my dad.
I lived at the
That
Lumber
was a
Yard
great-
for a
that
little
was a
while
great
when I was
venue.
hanging steel. in
Those are
Austin.
right next door, Silver Dollar North
Yeah.
and the Lumber Yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are both happening, man.
yeah, it
Yeah, I
was.
remember those well.
And we used to go to one and dance with one, and they'd take a break. Band would take a break. We'd go to the
Yeah, man.
Go across the rails.
Yeah,
It was across the parking lot, bro.
They were right there together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
sitting
saw-
on about 10 acres, and they were across the parking
In
lot.
high school, I saw John Conley, Rose-Colored Glasses,
Yep.
had just come out.
Yep.
And he was
Oh, man.
touring with the Hank Williams original Drifting Cowboys. For some
Right.
reason, it was an odd combo. But that song was so huge, he had to do it like 3 times in the set, you know.
Yeah.
But it was just like amazing. I remember seeing Dave and Sugar there. It was just crazy.
That's the song I learned to waltz to was Rose Colored.
Oh, I loved
Yeah.
that song. Oh, man, it was
I
huge.
tell you what,
36.
if you can't waltz to that song, you can't waltz.
Great to see you. Thank you, man.
Great to hang out with you, buddy. Jeff, later.
Later, cuz. You stand there. You don't want to part of that?
I don't want to be seen with you. Facebook, come on.
It's election day.
I got a reputation to uphold.
Calling all hearts. Terry McBride. He is in studio with us. His latest single, his first official single to Texas radio. Hopefully, get him a #1 out of it.
Oh, man.
It'll feel just as good or greater than Nashville. I
I'll
promise.
put that plaque on my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a
Take
proud
down that
moment.
billboard. Take down sacred ground and just go ahead.
Well, you know, you need goals in life, and honestly, you know, I mean, wherever it lands and ends, it's
Yeah.
going to be fine with me. Just getting started is a great feeling. But yeah, that would mean a lot. I mean, down the road, that's something I hope to end up being a fixture on these
Sure.
charts. I was driving in Sunday night, and I was fortunate to be on this countdown, like a top 20 Texas music countdown, and it was cool to hear my song, you know, right in there against and up with all the other artists that I
Right.
know, and it just felt good. That's a good feeling.
You know, it's something I never thought about. Now, you being a prolific as a songwriter as you are, have you ever had 2 songs combating each other at all? Ever? Like, I mean, you know, whatever, Terry McBride, and then somebody else with one of your cuts.
Yeah, you know, I've been fortunate to have had some really interesting cuts over the years. You know, I spent 13 years on the road with Brooks and Dunn, those guys really. But there was a period where I would have a couple singles kind of,
Yeah.
you know, jumping over each other. I've never been one of those guys that just loaded up on the charts. I mean, I'm fortunate to have success, but there are some guys that literally, a couple guys, you know, have had 30, 40 #1 songs.
Oh, yeah.
That's staying busy. You know, I mean, that's a run like it's unimaginable for me. I've written with a few of those songwriters like that, and it's amazing when you can line things up like that, because it's tough. You know, it's tough to come into the room. Like we were talking earlier, it's a crazy business where, you know, I sit down, hey, here's Jeff, and now we're going to pour our hearts out, even though we just met each other.
Right.
You know, it's like, wow, you got to be fairly confident in what you're doing,
Right.
and pretty, you know, thick skin to just throw a goofy idea out there, because every now and then you'll say something that's just like, man, I don't know if this is going to make sense. And sometimes those are the things that do make sense the most, or it gets you to the next line that you were hoping to
Well,
find.
I do that all the time. You know, I was like, oh, that sounded way better in my head.
it just
Now
fell
that
out.
now that I've said it out loud, it doesn't sound as great as I thought it was going to be. You know, so
Well, you've got to be willing to roll and go with
Right.
that over the years. You know, you can't hold that in, and you just never know. But
well, you do have a new album out, and it's called Rebels and Angels.
yeah,
And again, you know, your songwriting partners in this is just, the list is crazy.
yeah, some cool people. In
Some
there.
really good people, and you have the latest single, like we said, "Calling All Hearts." We'd like to hear something else off of it, Phil, if you have the time.
Yeah, I'll do something. This song is kind of near and dear to me, and it's interesting the way it kind of came about because I ride a lot with a friend of mine, Bryce Long is his name, and he's written some John Party things, "Heartache on the Dance Floor."
Uh-huh.
He wrote like a cowboy for. He's had some really great songs, strong songs, and he's just a good friend. And he's from Kentucky. He's a team roper. He's a cowboy.
There you go.
But he said, "Man, I love Texas like no place," because he has a lot of friends around the Fort Worth area. You know, Weatherford and Cowboy Central down there,
Yeah, it is.
Stephenville. You know, they do a lot of team roping, and he's really good at it. And he goes, "Man, I can go to Texas, and I can wear my hat, and nobody asks me if I'm a cowboy." You know,
It never comes up.
No,
Where's your horse? Where's your horse, Tex?
that's it. But now, around Kentucky or wherever he's from, people go, "You cowboy?" You know, he's like, "Oh," you know. So he came to me one day and he goes, "Man, I got a song that could be good, something for you for your album you're working on, you know." And I said, "Cool." He goes, "Because you know I love Texas like nobody does." So he had this little idea and he gave it to me, and then I just spent time on it. I wanted to really write something, you know, because when I'm not in Texas, I really do miss being here, family, and just the memories and everything
Sure.
growing up. So probably spent the most time on this song, just getting it together. And then we had Mickey Raphael come in and play from Willie's band, the harmonica player,
Yeah.
who's amazing, who played on my dad's album back in '71. And I cut one of my dad's songs from that album.
I was going to say, I saw that. Corpus Christi Wins on
Corpus
here.
Christi Win.
Yeah.
That was a little hit, regional hit for my dad in '71. Mickey played on that album. We were sort of reminiscing about that.
That's
It was
awesome.
so cool. But this is one of those songs from the record. It's called "Love Me Some Texas." Grew up on Bob and Willie, faded love and blue eyes crying in the rain, Hook 'em horns and gig 'em Aggies. Proud to say I was raised on the Lone Star State. Love me some Texas, Alpine to Austin, Hill Country sunset, that Gulf breeze in Corpus. Bright lights of Dallas, and night down in Cowtown. Ain't nothing like it, oh, I'll tell you right now. That's where my heart is. Love me some Texas. Summertime, it's always hot. The water's cold, floating down that old Guadalupe. Two-step in the Cotton Eye Joe. When I go, let those blue bonnets grow right over me. Love me some Texas, Alpine to Austin, Hill Country sunset, that Gulf breeze in Corpus. Bright lights of Dallas, a night down in Cowtown. Ain't nothing like it, oh, I'll tell you right now. That's where my heart is. Love me some Texas. Where cowboys are king and cowgirls are fine. And when I'm not there, oh, I'm there in my mind. Love me some Texas, line passes to Lubbock, South Padre Island, those sand dune sunsets, bright lights of Dallas, a night down in Cowtown. Ain't nothing like it, oh, I'll tell you right now. That's where my heart is. Yeah, that's where my heart is. Love me some Texas.
that's how you get ahead in Texas. You sing about Texas. He said Guadalupe, we're in. You know?
Well, you sing about things you know about.
That's it.
Then it might connect with somebody, you know? I think those are the songs that are usually the biggest songs that actually mean something to someone. Usually the writer, if you can pour your heart out. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just a commercial ditty that's 3 minutes long that makes you want to feel good. And there's nothing wrong with those either. But I really wanted to say something about every little piece of memories and then string them together that I have about Texas, you know, and that's really all in what that song is.
No, that's phenomenal, and that's just one cut, y'all. You know, and he did something that was traditional back in the day. And it's not so much, and it's getting a little bit more of it nowadays. Is the full length album?
Yeah,
you know, I mean, heck, back in the day it was 10 cuts, 12 cuts, whatever it might be, no problem. Yeah. Nowadays you get 3 to 5 out of an artist.
Went to an EP.
Yep.
Everybody was doing a condensed version.
Exactly.
Quicker, more affordable.
More affordable. That's the catch with the struggling artists.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot less man hours involved in that. But I've never done a solo record. This is my very first one. I mean,
that's crazy. Yeah, all these years.
All these years. I did a little EP a couple years ago. That kind of got my toes back in the water a little bit. But I wanted to commit to a full album, and with that, you can also they're just opportunities, you know, for because the thing about releasing music is it's everybody's doing it, everybody has music, but unless people can hear it and you can learn about it, what's the purpose, you know?
Right.
So we really took our time, organized a little team of people, and it's amazing what all is involved. I do have a great publicist who helps find people that might be interested in my story, you know, whether it's Guitar Player Magazine, Songwriter Magazine, that's been a good thing. Just opens a few doors, you know, like you said, Billboard Magazine, whatever. But I have to have someone, I can't be picking the phone, hey, it's Terry McBride, I want to talk about Terry McBride. You know, I mean, it's great to have people that are trying to help me do that.
Have you heard about me?
Yeah, exactly. It loses a little bit of something.
You got 45 minutes? Let's talk.
Yeah. But it doesn't. I have a group of young, talented people that are bright, and then I'm signed to a label called In Grooves, which is part of Universal, and they're all young and smart, but there's so much that goes into it, making sure all this music is registered, making sure it's available, and it's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to do it in a real professional kind of way, so people like you and the people listening can find it and have it and get it if they like it.
Yeah, so, and now again, how's it been for you with the Spotify and the iTunes and all that?
Yeah.
You're talking about different generations.
Well, that's crazy because none of that, of course, didn't even exist when I first started. And neither did social media. We didn't have it, you know. We just had the block telephone back in the 90s.
The one guy had the cell phone.
That's it. And we couldn't get service because there weren't any towers yet. We had that big block phone on the bus, but I still had to stop at a truck stop and use the payphone when I called radio, you know, 6 o'clock, 7 in the morning. I'd pull over just exhausted, but
you gotta make a radio call.
You gotta make a radio call. You're fortunate to have somebody spinning your dang song. You better get up and thank them for it and do something about it, you know, which I've always been that way, which is the reason why I'm here today.
No, yeah.
I'm serious about what I do, and music is more than just a lot of fun. To me, it's a lifestyle. It's what's allowed me to continue to travel, tour, play, sing all these years later. You know, I did something right along the way that connected with people, and that's what this business is all about. I've got to connect with people, and I've got to have music that does the same thing. You know, you and I sitting here today, if it didn't go well, you're like, you know, I liked his music until I met him. You know, that's why
it could go the opposite way.
It could go really bad.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you don't want to meet people that you think
because
you
can
like.
talk about Terry McBride as Terry McBride, but there's also a thin line there. You can go the other way with it. Yeah.
It really could. And you know, the cool thing about it is all these years later, I get all these people. They either reach out on socials or I meet them on the radio, like Terry. I met you, 25 years ago. Then there's a pause, and they're like, and you were the nicest guy. I mean, that's such a compliment
to me. Well, and with the internet nowadays, they have those lists on Reddit and stuff. You know, top 25 celebrities or country stars you don't want to meet.
Oh my gosh!
Worst experiences ever with such and such.
No.
You know, they have a list for everything nowadays.
That would be horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, for the most part, country guys and gals, a lot of them have come from sort of humble beginnings. I think that makes them a lot more appreciative of what they've got when they finally do achieve some sort of success.
Right.
So I haven't really found any real jerks in the business. I mean, I did catch Waylon one time when he wasn't in a good mood. It was shocking. Nothing I did, but Then later I met him again. He was the nicest guy in the world.
It's just one of those days.
He was having
Off
one of those
day.
days, struggling with whatever he was struggling with
Yeah.
that day, and he'd been through a lot in his life and was dealing with a lot of things. So, but still, I went out of my way. Willie, like the sweetest guy ever,
Right.
Heroes. Talk about heroes and things like that,
That's crazy.
But yeah, I'm a music lover. That's how I started. I was such a fan, and then later to see people that you looked up to recording some of your songs, like in the case of George Strait, people like that. It's just mind blowing. It's just
that's gotta be crazy.
it's the best day ever.
Now,
really.
and speaking of songs, I want to get one more out of you if I
Yeah.
can. And again, it's wild card. I mean, you make a decision. You'll play something new. It's up to you. Just
I'll go back and play a hit or something.
Sure.
If that's okay.
Well,
Want to
yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Let's do this little tender song, and I'll work my way on out of here. I'm heading on to Brownwood next.
Yeah, that's right. I get it.
Beautiful Comanche, Texas, later
Yeah.
today. I'm making the rounds, but there again, Jeff, I appreciate you having me.
No,
man.
thank you, Terry. I appreciate
Really,
it.
I enjoyed visiting with you early on. I knew you were somebody I wanted to come by. I liked your story.
Hey.
Actually, you took the time to kind of visit with me and let me know what was going on.
Oh,
here.
Jeff likes Jeff.
Yeah. But it was more than that, Jeff. You were talking about your community and you were talking about this station, and I think this is important for
Yes,
this
it is.
area. You've got people that are digging this Texas music, and you're providing that. You're providing a service here, man.
Well, I appreciate
And you're
it.
good on the air. I listened to you on the way in, and so I'll leave you with this tender little tearjerker here. It goes like this. Well, she blew through the door like TNT. Put her hand on her hip, pointed her finger at me. Said, I'm a whiskey drinking, cowboy chasing, hell of a time. I like Kitty Keith, Allen, and Patsy Cline. I'm a full-grown queen bee looking for honey. Oh, play something country, alright. Well, the band took a break, the DJ played P. Did she said I didn't come here to hit something thumping from the city. Said I shave my legs, I pay my money. Y'all play something country. Y'all play something country. Crank up the band, play the steel guitar. Hank it up a little, let's rock this bar. Threw back a shot, yet I'm a George Strait junkie. Y'all play something country. Y'all play something country. Ooh, yeah. All right. Well, the bartender, yeah, y'all, it's closing time. She got this wild look on her face and says, your truck on mine. I know a place down the road. It's kind of funky. Way out in the country. Y'all play something country. Crank up the band, play the steel guitar. Hey, get up a little, let's rock this bar. Threw back a shot, yet I'm a George Strait junkie. Oh, play something country. Oh, play something country. Ooh, yeah, here we are. KRU in Ballinger, Texas. I'm Terry McBride, and I'll see you next time.
Terry McBride, thank you so much. There you go, guys. Hey, check him out November 5th in Abilene, Texas. Abilene, Texas,
That's
November
right.
5th. Storytellers Unplugged, featuring Terry McBride, Mark Powell, amongst others.
Yeah, bet.
Go check him out. Tickets available. Go to markpowellmusic.com. Go check him out there. Be a great time. Get out and enjoy yourselves. Terry, once again, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. 9:47. Thanks for hanging out with us. You'll be listening to the Jeff and Landy Morning Show, being brought to you by Ballinger Home Health and Hospice. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow for Way Back Wednesday. Have a great day. There we go, brother.
Down to the wire.
Down to the wire. Let's see here.
Oh, that's great, man.
Thanks, guys. Facebook. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, that's